Okay, YouTubers, this is EMDSD14R, and if you liked the little intro, then you're gonna like this video. This is a video of the very first steam locomotive I ever kit bashed. I kit bashed this on November the 26th, 2013, which was last year. And if you heard in many previous videos on my custom locomotives of how I never really attempted to kit bash a steam locomotive, or thought about doing it but just didn't have the I didn't think I was ready to do it exactly yet. Well, I got fed up with it, and I just went ahead and decided to do it. I basically took two Rivarossi 040s and kit bashed them into one locomotive. The original 040 was a New York Central unit with the tender, and then the Central Railroad of New Jersey tank engine was from another 040. And basically what I did is I did a lot of extensive modifications to this engine. I added the styrene block at the front along with the styrene bracing in there because there was a gap between the bottom of the boiler and the cylinder heads, or the cylinders I should say. I added a coupler to the front, and then on the bottom here it's held on by 4 screws. There's a styrene beam that runs along the side of the cab on both sides, and there's 4 screws holding the cab on. This, if you actually can see that, this is also the rear of the oil bunker, and the tender is the original tender from the first steam engine, and I left it on there and I just kit bashed it to a shorter tender. So this is where the fuel is being held, and then this is the extra water, and then the tanks here, the extra water. The bell came from that steam engine, that other Rivarossi engine as well. It still has all the gears. The gears are in there still. They still work. The only issue I'm having is I don't know what kind of motor to put in here. I mean, I know I want a can motor, but I just don't know. What size. I mean, there's a lot of room in there. There's a lot of room inside there. If you guys can see, there's more than enough room for a speaker and a motor, but I just don't know. I just don't know what size a motor to put in there. I just don't know. I was thinking about going with a Stanton power drive for the, have it powered by dual Stanton power drives under the tender, but I don't want it to be similar to what those older Tyco 460s were. They had the motor was in the tender. I really don't like that setup. I really would like it to have this, to have the motor like it was meant to be, and I just really don't know. But there's plenty of room in there for a good motor and a speaker. It does need to be kit bashed more to look more American. This has to be closed up more. I don't have the material to do. I have the material, but just haven't gotten around to doing it. Not to mention I need small files to square that up and whatnot, because the kit actually is more of a the tank engine is more of a European tank engine if you look at the windows. So yeah, I was thinking about adding some trailing trucks to it, or a couple of pilot wheels, but haven't really found anything that would be suitable for it. Oh, the oil cap here, I put that on myself. That actually used to be part of the Proto 2000 SD50 Conrail shell that I had lying around. It was actually if you look through the wire screen vent and you saw that fan, that was actually the fan detail. But yeah, it was a pretty extensive kit bash to do. A lot of time was taken to make sure that all this fit together, and make sure that there was a gap between the tender and the bunker. I mean, it's not really too noticeable. I mean, it's a very prototypical stance. I mean, not stance, but the way it looks. I actually used a file to slope that back. I am going to put a light up here though. I might just leave that one there, but I'm not sure yet. But I really don't know what to repower this with. There's not too many kits that you can. I mean, a Yardbird kit probably wouldn't work because the motor would be sitting up too high. So I don't know if I don't think anybody makes a kit, a repowering kit for this type of Rivarossi 040. I'm not really sure, because the original chassis that this engine had, the motor sat vertically, and then the worm gear sat like that. That was for the original chassis, but then the second Rivarossi, which was newer, the motor actually sat flat on the body, on the frame, at a slight angle. So it was angled like at a 45-degree angle like that, and that's how it was able to move. Unfortunately, it burned out, as do a lot of Rivarossi engines that I had. Matter of fact, I admit, every single Rivarossi steam engine I owned caught fire and burned out. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I had a Challenger. I ran around my track 3 times, smoked, caught fire. Traded that, turned that back in to get a big boy. And then the big boy, same thing happened. Finally, I took the big boy back and got myself a Broadway Limited GG1. The one that you guys have seen, the 4829. So that's how I got that one. But I need to figure out what to power this thing with.